Let's put our hands together for the Unity North Band. this beautiful August morning. Thank you guys so much. How are we doing today? That was, wow. Whoa, what was that? Let's try it again. How are we doing this morning? All right, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Well, we're so glad to have you. The love and the energy that you bring every time we come to this place, we are so thankful. And we're going to take that into a moment of prayer. So as our friends take their seats, let's take a moment to center ourselves, to take a deep breath of gratitude for the connection that we have. And as we look within, and with joyful anticipation of today's service, what we want to do is listen not with our human ears today, but let's listen with the ears of spirit. Let's listen with the ears of the divine that resides within. Let us see not with our human eyes, but see with our spiritual eyes. And as the stories and the messages and the songs and the meditation, let them resonate with us on a deeper level, one that affects our very spirit, one that we can take with us as we walk out of the door and into the week, changed for the better, positively affecting others, and therefore positively affecting our world as we believe in the ripple effect both in our hearts and in our community. So today, let those spiritual eyes and those spiritual ears really resound strongly with the beautiful messages that we will receive today as individuals and today as a Unity North community. And with that sense of connection, with that sense of transformation, together we say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Danielle. So the connection, the light, the goodness that we're all seeking, you brought it into the room, yes? Who brought your light into this space here today? Oh, okay, we'll get you by the end of the service. Each one of you brought something essential and necessary. As the band kicks in this first song, I'm going to invite you to take that light, put it into your heart and into your voice, up on your feet if you are able. And let's just get our bodies moving. Let's electrify the room. I am a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibility. And I can heal any darkness as I recall. I am a point of light in the light of God. Love so bright as God's light. Yes, I can heal any darkness as I recall. I am a point of light in the light of God. And you are a point of light. You are a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibility. And you can heal any darkness as you recall. You are a point of light in the light of God. Raise your voice. Love so bright as God's light. Yes, you can heal any darkness as you recall. You are a point of light in the light of God. Good. Turn to your left and your right with a handshake or a hug and say, you are a point of light. Meet that new person. And we say that you are a point of light. All of you who are online, reaching out to us, thanks so much for taking the time to spend time with us. We welcome your light, and we send that light right back to you. Welcome to Unity North. Okay, let's come on back, Unity, and let's know that we are greater as a point of light together. We are a point of light. We are a point of light in the light of... Get those hands going. Endless with possibility. And we can heal any darkness as we recall. We are a point of light in the light of God. Sing it out, Unity. Love so bright. Yes, we can heal any darkness as we recall. We are a point of light in the light of God. You sounded wonderful this morning. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Well, one of the amazing things about Unity North is that we don't just see the light that you have, we see the potential for the light that you can be, and that is how our ministries help us shine even brighter. So let's take a look at what is happening soon. So this is a great time to take out your phone so you can take a picture of this, because there are a lot of classes and events that are happening. You'll see the first one on there is Spiritual Connections. And that's not going to start until September 21st. However, host signups are happening in the back today, and they're also happening online. So if you're interested in hosting on a certain topic, you get to pick the day of the week because you're the host. So if you're interested in that, you definitely want to sign up in the back. And
those of you, a lot of people have come up to me with this series about stories, and you said, I've got a story, I've got a story. We're going to be telling stories in those small groups. If you want your story to be heard, your story of overcoming and becoming, you want to get in a group right away.
Absolutely. And so starting August 31st, the participant sign-ups start. So if you're interested in hosting that storytelling group, you want to check that sign-up out in the back or online. If you're interested in being in the storytelling group, starting August 31st. So you can ask questions to Linda Martin or Dawn Gowan, and they'd be happy to take your questions and give you some answers. So we also have our Pride Parade coming up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. On the next slide, we'll see that we have our Pride Parade coming up, and t-shirts. I already have my orders in for 2 of them. I hope you're getting yours too. We can wear them to service as well. And those signups and much more are happening in the back.
For the last 15 years, I have been trying to get Unity North's presence in the Pride Parade in Atlanta. For a number of reasons. 1, because it's what we believe in. It's what we stand for. But 2, because people need to know that we exist. You know, they're often afraid of Cobb County because there are people where the communities around us where the LGBT community is not welcome. They're welcome to come, but then they have to change. Here at Unity North, we are a place of diversity and acceptance. And I'm so thrilled that Sabrina and the LGBTQ ministry here at Unity North finally, after 15 years of trying, got us into that parade. I will be down there on that day, and I will be wearing my t-shirt proudly. Some of you asked just a moment ago, well, do I have to be in the parade to get a shirt? No. We're going to be wearing those shirts in the room that day, and we're going to be actually live streaming on these screens from the Pride Parade, because Unity North is a place of love and diversity, and we are going to be loud and proud about using our voice for equality and oneness. So get your t-shirt. They go on sale in the back there. Next week is the last day you can purchase them.
Absolutely. I was going to emphasize next Sunday is the last day. So you can go online, you can go in the app, you can check out Sabrina in the back, but this is one way that we can support our entire community, and specifically our LGBTQ+ community. And another group of people that we have that are constantly supporting us are prayer chaplains. And we are so thankful for the energy that you all hold every service. We're so thankful that you're available before and after service for prayer, and we know that we can just approach you and celebrate or ask for that one-on-one time. So thank you so much to our prayer chaplains. So if you are new to Unity North, I'm hoping that you feel this environment of love that is present every single Sunday. Our welcome team is coming forward, and they want to extend that sense of love. So they have welcome packets in their hand, and in that welcome packet is a Let's Connect card, and you can fill that out with pen and paper. You can go online, you can scan the QR code and fill it out, but we want to make sure we stay connected with you. So right now, if you're here for the very first time, would you raise your hand nice and high in the air so we can share some love and a packet with you? And we want to keep our hands up until we get a packet in your hands. Thank you so much for choosing Unity North. And we're going to keep on clapping because we still got some people that are getting some packets. So let's share that love, Unity North. We've got more. We've got more in our hearts. So the picture that you see behind me is a welcome table that is downstairs. And so our welcome team will be there with a smile, with answers to your questions. But anyone with a how can I help tag will definitely help you find your way downstairs for food and fellowship and some company on your first time here. So thank you for coming. So Sorry, we're trying to psychically connect, and there's this little barrier right here. So, at Unity North, yes, we know how to reside in an energetic field, and we know how to bring that energy inward and reflect, and meditation is a perfect time for that. So as the lights come down and we center ourselves, we will begin this time of reflection.
We use the words, I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, and in the glory. For those of you who are new, this is how we see you, in your perfection, not broken or stained or needing to be fixed, but in your light and in your magnificence. I invite you to join us in one heart, one spirit, one voice as we sing together.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory.
Let's do this one more time for the subconscious mind from the beginning.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory.
Take it inward and upward.
In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory.
Take a deep breath, family. And if you haven't done so already, close your outer eyes and open your inner eyes. And as the keyboard continues playing, let us melt into these words as our truth. Make them personal. Take them personally. You are the unrepeatable thought of God, a living word in the great sentence of creation. Before time began, the infinite dreamed a dream, and that dream took shape as you. No one else carries this exact rhythm in their heartbeat. No one else wears this rainbow of light across their soul. Breathe that in. Do not dim your fire to match the flicker of comfort zones. Be you. For the Holy One has no use for cages or boxes, only wings. You are the co-author of your own becoming. And page by page by page, you are writing a story that answers not to fear, but to the whisper of spirit inside your bones. Oh, there are people in this world that may try to map your boundaries, but your soul, Your soul, as an expression of God, draws outside every line, sketching new horizons that have never been seen before. You are not here to fit the mold. You are here to melt it and to pour something new into the shape of life. Each act of courage you take is a plot twist in a holy narrative. And the more that you dare, the more heaven dares through you. You are measured by the immeasurable, by a God who moves in galaxies and also in the tender turning of a single leaf. And so, beloved, live your story out loud. Rise. Rise higher than the highest rain cloud, beyond any circumstance. Reach farther than reasonable says you can. And when you do what they said could not be done, it will not be for applause, but as the living testimony and evidence that Spirit's vision is always, always greater than human limitation. You are the beloved, unapologetic, unmistakable, unboxed, and unbounded rainbow of creation. You are meant to shine. You are meant to shine. Let's fall into the silence and simply radiate that rainbow.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, they're only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know the wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said every wish would be heard and answered when wished on a morning star? Somebody thought of that, someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Oh, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Spirit Horse, Tempe, Jody. When Tempe said we'd like to do Spirit Connection, Rainbow Connection for the service today, I thought, it's been a long time since I heard that frog sing that song. And this was better than any frog ever sang it, for sure. I thought I had to think twice, and really the whole message today came out of the song. Thank you for being one of my inspirations. Actually, we were joking earlier. It was just, will Jody play it? If Jody will play it, then I will go ahead and do this. I love both of you. I love all three of you. I love the band. Thank you for the music today. Today, I'm going to invite you. Well, first of all, let me ask you a question. How many lovers are in the room? Everybody's hands should be up. How many dreamers are in the room? And how many me's are in the room? The lovers, the dreamers, the me. But Unity North, we're all about the lovers, the dreamers, and the we. The we that we come together, the rainbow that absolutely lives and breathes when we come in our eclectic ways of thinking, our different ways of finding the infinite presence of the light and the love, the different ways. We come together and somehow we prove something. We don't have to be the same in order for the rainbow to shine. In fact, the colors of the rainbow are absolutely necessary. I'm going to invite you today as we have another story. This is the second story we're going to hear today in our series about the power of stories to heal and to transform. How many were here for Veronica Rockwitz last week? Wasn't that an amazing story? I hope you carried her with you the whole time. But to look at your life, your story through the lens of that beautiful arc of color in the sky, bridging heaven and earth, bridging the sky and the earth. Nature's promise that there's always light at the end of any storm, right? At the end of any dark night of the soul or any storm in your life, there is always the promise that light will be there. In fact, light can be right in the middle of the storm. They are symbols. Rainbows are symbols of hope, of diversity, of unity and beauty and creativity and the power that comes when we commit to letting our light shine through the prism of our lives. No matter what's going on in our life, we make a commitment to allowing all parts of ourselves to shine in the sky for ourselves and for others. I want you to think today of the rainbow and the colors as a chakra system. They line up. They line up perfectly. This is not me. This is just taking the colors of the rainbow and overlaying them over the chakra system. That is how our Christ is revealed, how the light, the beauty of our essence is revealed. Let's start with the red. Those of you who study the chakra system, this is the root chakra. It's the grounding, it's the strength, it's the courage, it's the fire, it's the ability to do what is ours to do on earth, connected to the earth itself. And then we move into the orange, which looks very yellow up there. Does it look orange to you? I don't know how that happened, because I spent all afternoon yesterday making sure I had the perfectly right colors. So we use the faculty of our imagination, creativity, joy, and play, with the playful energy. How many people want to play through your spiritual evolution? If you're not having fun, then don't waste your time. It is a fun journey back to the Garden of Eden, back to the divine self. And so the orange is creativity, joy, and playful energy. Yellow, confidence and clarity and understanding to know yourself. How many of you feel like you know yourself a little better today than you did yesterday, or 10 years ago, 20 years ago? All the hands go up. Yeah, I'm a different person today, because you got a clearer picture of who you are and who God has chosen to be as you doing business on earth. That's what the yellow represents. And then we have green. We all know this is the heart chakra, right? Represents love, tenderness, compassion, and understanding for yourself and for others. It's essential. It is essential to our becoming, to the rainbow of our existence being in its fullness, and it's right there in the center, absolutely in the center. Love is foundational to everything we teach, and love is foundational to every spiritual path that ever has dotted the face of the earth. Then we move into blue, truth and authenticity. How many of us are living out loud? We are called, that's what we do here at Unity North, from that place of love to live authentically, transparently as who God created you to be, without apology, without excuses, but just being you. And then we get the indigo. This is the third eye, the chakra here, the spiritual insight, the trusting of the divine downloads, the divine energy that is placed upon your heart. That idea and that notion that only can come through you, God has chosen, the universe, the cosmos has chosen to express as you, and we get it through the third eye. Anybody ever have something pop to that part of you that didn't make any sense to the human ego? I stand here today, or I sit here today, basically as a testimony to the spiritual understanding that came through in my human mind, living in fear and doubt, said that doesn't make sense. This is an essential part of the rainbow, the download that says, I will be there with you, for you, around you, and as you. And then, of course, the violet. When all of these colors, these divine ideas are firing on all pistons, then the Christ is revealed, the violet. The crown, the Christ known by the name Buddha, the Buddha nature, the Atman, the Tao, the divine light, the divine essence, the rainbow is what we're going to call it today. The rainbow of you. All things are working together and we shine in the sky. And there's an amplification, because when it's firing on all cylinders, anybody ever see a double rainbow? There is an increase, a spiritual increase and an amplification. When we come together and your light is at its fullness and my light's at its fullness and everybody in the room, there's a double. And anybody seen a triple rainbow? I had the blessing at one point to see 3 rainbows all at one time. It was magnificent and glorious. And I'll talk about what happened in that moment for me in a moment. But when we cultivate all these energies, all these chakras within our system, in our mind, our heart, and our life, we begin to attune ourselves to the divine essence that we were created in and after. The Spirit shining in, through, around, but more importantly, as us, as you, as me. We become, essentially, the rainbow that we've been seeking. And my Irish blood, I've got my Irish blood, of course, you're always looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But the reality is, when all things are firing together, I begin to realize that I am the treasure. I am the gold inside that chest. I am the light itself. I am not separate from it. And so I can seek out here for years and years and years and never find it until I realize it's an inward journey. And the gold and the treasure and the rainbow is here. It says in the song, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. My hope is that the work that we do here, the stories that we share, the relationships that we build, that now is that moment. Not someday, not some far-off distant place. I don't have to wait till I've had the right class or the right workshop or I've met the right people. It is a now experience, and we're one breath, one heartbeat away from the full realization of looking that deeply to realize I am that which I have been seeking. The lovers, those of us who live from compassion. You know, it's going to come through the heart chakra. We cannot think our way into enlightenment. You cannot think your way into a relationship with the divine essence. It must come through love. So the lovers exist here. The lovers bring a compassion and an understanding that is necessary to not just their own evolution, but the evolution of the whole here today. And then the dreamers, using the intellect, the visionaries who are downloading things that don't seem possible. Suddenly there's a great partnership. The head and the heart come together. Our guest storyteller today is an amazing example of what I just talked about. I knew of his reputation before I actually met him in class, but I've got a little more to say before I bring him up here, and then he will dazzle you with his being. We have been involved in the series about stories, and last week's story was a story of overcoming horrible, dark circumstances. When I talked to Elliot Rozovsky, he says, I didn't really have overcoming, but what he had was a revealing at a very young age. His spiritual journey started at a very young age. You'll hear about that. And at 21 years old, I'm blown away with the wisdom coupled with a heart energy that exists in this man's presence. It's less a story of overcoming, and it's a marriage of the head and the heart, an incredible intellect, married with a deep feeling nature. Some would say the male and female parts of us in perfect harmony, and the rainbow shines. A story of finding coherence, of finding connection, a story of seeking until it was found. Compassion, dreaming, thinking, feeling, the rainbow connection of an integrated system in one person. A rainbow doesn't just brighten the sky. And as I thought about our guest today and what I knew about him before I actually had a conversation with him, was what he caused the class to do. He's been in every one of our Monday night classes as part of our lay leader program. And people came to me in droves. Have you met Elliot? Have you talked to Elliot? Have you experienced Elliot? Over and over and over. What do rainbows cause us to do, everybody? Look up. First thing you do is look up. I'm not defined by what's happening here in the world. I'm defined by a consciousness that's looking up. And then what do rainbows also cause you to do? Stop and pause and think differently. Stop and pause and feel. That's what we do here. Each one of us is called to be a rainbow to cause the rest of this congregation, and then to do it out there, the rest of the world, to stop and to pause and to realize that there is beauty right in the midst of the rainstorm. Right in the midst of the dark clouds, there is beauty. But you don't find it unless you stop and you pause and you look and you pay attention. Elliot Rozovsky has caused this church to stop, to pause, to look up, and to see the beauty in the most loving way. His IQ is probably far surpassing mine. Yet it is married with a sense of being that has ministered to a great number of people without ego, without push, without shove, but just with being. Another line from the song says, "Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name." Elliot will tell you how old he was when he first started getting the call. But the reality is, it's calling your name. Today may be the day, not someday that the rainbow connection happens. It's this day, based upon what we talk about here in just a few moments. At Unity, we hear them not just calling our name, but we hear them calling the name of the person to your left and your right. We feel and sense and know the rainbow, the essence, the indigo, the violet, the green, the yellow, the magnificence of every soul sitting around you right now, because we are partners in believing. We are co-creators in changing the face of the planet. And that voice is calling us to wake up from our sleep. You're one breath, you're one decision, you're one relationship away from a waking up process. So someday is not tomorrow, we wake up today. And remember the connection to the prism of light that we have always, always been. One of my missions, and I told this to Elliot this week when we met, is to shine my light so brightly that others cannot help but know that that same light exists in them. And he said, that's my mission too. I resonate with that. When we live in full color, we don't just find a rainbow connection, we become it. We become that spectrum of beauty, that bridge, that story, that invitation, that sign for others to wake up to the spectrum of their own magnificent rainbow essence. And it doesn't matter how old you are when it happens, but I'm going to invite this 21-year-old up here to be our story for the day. Will you please welcome to this chair, Elliot Brozovsky. Hey, Elliot, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Richard. How are you?
I'm wonderful. You know, I checked him out. He's going to tell you about himself, but he's got students at Kennesaw State. And I went online to check him out, and they agree with me. 5-star ratings from every single student that he's been teaching in college. So, Elliot, introduce yourself to the family.
Thank you so much for inviting me up here, Richard. As you said, my name is Elliot Brozovsky, and I did used to teach at Kennesaw State University, which is my alma mater. I just recently got my master's degree in professional writing from KSU back in December. At the same time that I was getting that degree, I was teaching composition classes there. My students did not know I was very close to their age. They were practically my peers. I didn't tell them that. But I graduated at 21 with my master's degree. I got my bachelor's from KSU at age 18, meaning I graduated from high school at age 16. So I've been focused on academics for a while now, trying to build up towards my dream to be able to teach others and to be able to do writing. My dream is to be a published author. So I'm now taking time off of school to focus on myself, to focus on my writing, and to figure out what I want to do in life.
So if you keep trying hard enough, you might achieve something in your life. You know, you're the consummate overachiever. You have done so much in such a little time, and you also have a black belt. How old were you when you got a black belt?
When I got my first black belt, I think I was 6. And then I got my 3rd degree black belt by the time I was 12. I was a state champ in all 7 categories of Taekwondo. And that was just me as a 12-year-old.
So what I said earlier, and I really believe this, you know, this sometimes feels like my first rodeo on earth, but if there is a case for reincarnation, it's sitting here to my right. There's many rodeos with this young man, but you know, when you are an overachiever, when you accomplish so much, when there's so much that you do in such a short time, are there consequences to that you've had to deal with?
Absolutely. Wonderful question. Because I had this drive and this motivation to push myself to achieve all of these things, I did find that there was some repercussions, including a lot of stress, a lot of what might look like anxiety, or just this constant drive, this need to feel like I must accomplish something, I must be good at this thing that I'm good at, which is academics. And eventually I began to realize that along with the positives of feeling accomplished, there was also the negatives of I started to define myself by my accomplishments, by my academics, by my good grades. And eventually I stopped and paused and wondered, without that, who am I? What am I? What is my value? What is my worth? And where do I find it besides this A on this assignment or this degree that is a piece of paper that someone gave me?
So this is a journey we're all on. And we say it pretty much every week. We are not what we do. We are not what we've earned. We are not the rewards or the accolades. We're not our jobs. We're not our relationships. That's a journey that we've all had, maybe at a little bit later in life. But Elliot's talking about that. So you began to do some exploration. What was the exploration that you endeavored to do?
Yeah, so when I was getting the master's degree, I was teaching at the same time, and I thought, this is, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm good at this. But at the same time, there was so much stress, and I realized this is not sustainable. I cannot keep doing this. Something is wrong. Something is off. So I talked to my parents and I said, after I get the master's degree, I'm pausing. I'm taking time off. I'm going to explore what I'm actually looking for in life. What am I actually doing? Why am I doing it? And that looked like a lot of meditation. It looked like a lot of reading, a lot of journaling, where I went, I cannot base my image of myself on these temporary things, on these things that are stressful to try and accomplish, on these things that ultimately are not the fulfillment I'm looking for. So I sat and I paused and I thought, who am I really? What really defines my worth? Why am I really here on earth? Because it's not assignments, it's not teaching, it's not writing.
How many of you have asked those very questions? That's good. You know, we say at Unity that we're here to get our answers, our questions answered, but also to get our answers questioned. And asking, this is part of the spiritual path. Who am I? Who am I really? Why am I here on earth? And so, what is my true self? In our discussion this week, you said, I began to remember who I am. Who are you? What did you learn beyond all this other stuff?
Well, when you sit and you think about who are you, there's so many answers you could come up with off the top of your head. So my sister and I did this exercise once where she went, who are you? Well, and I said, well, I'm a teacher. She went, no, I didn't ask for your job. Who are you? Well, I'm a student. She went, no, I didn't ask for that. Who are you? And we kept peeling back the layers. And I went, well, I'm not my job. I'm not my name. I'm not my face. Who am I? And I came up with the answer that I am love. I am source, I am God, I am the universe. And that's the only answer I've ever found true, always.
And I think that's absolutely what we're getting to. And you have this uncanny ability to, people in your presence, to bring not only an assurance of who you are as love, but for that to be conveyed through your intellect. You're a really smart guy. They always talk about your smarts, but they also feel safe in your presence. How is that understanding of who you truly are conveyed out into the world?
I think it's this sitting with myself, connecting to my higher self. I begin to feel that trust and that comfort in who I am, in my alignment with my higher self, with the universe. And when I feel that, it gives me the space to be authentic. It gives me the space to feel joy, to feel love, and to bring that to everywhere that I walk into, every room I walk into, as long as I'm actually connected with myself, that is. And when I do that...
Can we pause that for a second? As long as I'm connected to myself and who I truly am, all those things show up in the world.
Yeah. I lose it sometimes, and then I remember, because I notice when I've lost it. I notice when I go, I'm not connected to myself because something feels wrong, something feels off. So I go into meditation, I ground myself, I remember who I am, and then I bring that into a space, I say, I'm being authentically myself, and it gives people the room to be authentic with me.
So are you the same person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago?
No, I'm always changing. And I find a lot of comfort in that, in not defining myself by who I was last year, who I was 5 years ago, who I was last week. It gives me the space to be who I am in the moment, who I need to be in the moment. And I find that very fulfilling, and it relieves a lot of anxiety about the future, because I used to be so future-driven. Well, this is the path that I'm on. Well, this is the linear path of life and success, and I need to rush down it as fast as I can. No, I'm allowed to take the time and space to just be who I am today, right now.
Has everybody always accepted you for who you are, and it's been really easy, and the path was just cleared before you when you stood in the magnificence of your essence? Did the path always clear for you?
No, definitely not. I've been blessed with a very supportive family, a very supportive community for the majority of my life. And I focus on that, and I focus on the people who did give me the space to be myself. But there's always, people, aspects of society, communities that I was once a part of who say, we want you to be this way, we want you to be that way, this is who you're supposed to be. No, this is who you used to be, why aren't you that anymore? And I eventually just realized I don't have to listen to them, I am born on this planet for a specific reason, and I only get to accomplish that if I'm living as myself, not as so-and-so wants me to be, or not as this group wants me to be. I have to be myself.
So one of the things that we talked about in our preparation for today, and I wrote these words down. Stay hungry, stay thirsty, stay teachable. So you have a college professor telling me that the evolutionary path means I need to stay teachable and open. Can you speak about that?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the benefits of me teaching and getting my degree at the same time was I always had that ingrained in me that learning is a lifelong journey. You're never done learning. And I found that very helpful because it opened my eyes to being able to receive what other people had to offer me. Even my students, I was teaching them, but I was learning from them. And that kind of gives me the room to grow all the time. I'm never stagnant. I kind of get antsy if I'm in the same place or feel stagnant for too long. And I go, what is that? What is that feeling? But when I remain open and I realize that I'm always growing, I'm never the same person day one and day two, it gives me the trust to believe in myself and the universe to go, I am still growing. I am still learning.
So it's one thing to discover that you're love. It's one, I recognize it. I am love incarnate. But you also said in our interview beforehand, everything that has ever happened to me was love's impact. Everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the storms, it was love's impact. And you said this, which is one of the unity principles. I see no enemies. The master teacher said, love your enemies. And we teach around here, you have no enemies. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. In my period of discernment in these meditations where I sit and connect with myself, when I discover what it means to be human, that I am love, that I am source, it made it impossible for me to see hate or enemies in the faces of the people around me. Even people who are no longer in my life or who don't actively wish the best for me or who have, caused pain in my life, I can't see them as my enemies. Because I see the face of God in myself. And if it's there because I am human, because it is simply who I am, it must be in the person to my left and to my right, the people I don't talk to anymore, the people I don't know anything about. It must be there. Because as much as I am human, as much as I am source, they are human, they are source. And all of the stress or things that look like pain or things that I've experienced that maybe weren't fun to go through have turned me into the man that I am today. Someone that I love being, someone that I know I'm meant to be. Therefore, if I'm meant to be this person, everything that has ever happened to me was meant to happen to me. Therefore, it must be an expression of the love of the universe.
Breathe that in, family. Breathe that in. Life is for you, moving you in the direction of a fuller expression of your love and your essence. Now, it's easier to do in a community where everybody's got the same idea. So life can be difficult. You don't change the thing. What important role does community like this play in your continued evolutionary process?
Community is so important to me because of all the moments where it hasn't been there. When I feel isolated, when I feel focused on school, or when I've left prior communities and then realized I didn't have community anymore. I told Richard, and many people know this, I was born and raised Catholic. So for a long period of time, I had that spiritual community. I was very Catholic when I was in middle school and high school. And I thought, I didn't go to public school, so this is where I had friends. This is where I had community. And we're like-minded, we're spiritual. But as I grew up and as I grew older and I realized more about myself, that no longer was a safe community for me. It became a very uncomfortable place to be a part of. The people became uncomfortable for me to be around. And so around 2020, that happened around COVID, where I started to discover that I did not align with that community anymore. And so during that period of quarantine and isolation, when I had kind of severed this connection with my spiritual community that was such a large part of my life, I thought, I'm just in complete isolation now. And in that isolation, I very much noticed the lack of community created this sort of emptiness where I went, what is life? Why am I here? And in discovering that I am love and so much of the purpose of life for me is love, I needed to have it in community. I cannot just feel that love in isolation all the time. I need to feel the love in the people around me. And so throughout my spiritual journey, I began to discover what I actually believed, not what any one religion wanted to teach me was the truth about God or the universe. I discovered it independently. I did reading, I did meditation, I did journaling, and I found what I discerned to be true about our universe, about our world, about myself. And for a good bit of time, I thought, surely no one believes this. Surely I'm destined to sit in isolation forever and just be spiritual by myself. And then eventually I did find unity, and I found this community of like-minded people where I can sit in the comfort of knowing this is how I see the universe, and I feel it in the people around me. I told Richard one of the first times that I ever came to Universe, I felt the arms of the universe around me, encompassing me, holding me and loving me.
Breathe that in. You know, we have said for a while, last week we talked about the container of Unity North. That's a little rough around the edges sometimes. But the substance that's on the inside is what it's all about. And that's what Elliot felt. He felt the substance of the consciousness of this collective environment. You obviously have a very advanced intellect. But one of the things that was most meaningful to me is you said things like, I needed to take time to feel what I was feeling. Why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling? Can you speak a little bit about the marriage between your thought process and your feeling nature?
Absolutely. In sort of my intellectualism, one of the things that I love to do is psychoanalyze myself. I consider it one of my hobbies. And so for a long time, almost every time that I felt a feeling, I need to know where this comes from. I need to know why I'm feeling this way. Why do I feel this drive and motivation for success? Why do I feel this stress? Why do I feel this lack of fulfillment? I needed to understand. I craved understanding. And so as I was working through my feelings, perhaps intellectualizing them too much at times, I discovered a little bit more of what was causing them. And in this process realized, I am not my feelings. I am not my thoughts. There are things that I'm experiencing as part of this human experience, but I don't need to define myself by them. And that made them a lot easier to approach, to manage, and to enjoy at times.
So just one last thing, and you said it a couple times here, but it stood out for me because it's so important to my spiritual path. Elliot clearly said, you got to have fun. You have to have fun. If this spiritual path of enlightenment is not fun, why are we doing it? Can you speak about how this is a joyful ride, even when things, you said, weren't necessarily happy? The way you would design them, you made them fun.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, life is a gift. I get so much enjoyment from it because if I'm not focused on the fun of it, I start to lose sight of what is the point? Why am I here? You know, the point of life is not the degree, it's not, the connections and the handshakes, it's not cleaning my house every day, right? What is the point of it? For me, it's love, but it's also discovery. I just enjoy getting to see what life has to offer, what the people around me have to offer. It's fun. If I'm not having fun, then where am I getting that fulfillment from? How am I keeping myself going? So even when it doesn't look necessarily like tangible fun or positive feelings, I'm not going to carnivals every day, I'm not going to the movie theaters every day. I am sitting and finding the enjoyment in every task that I do to the best of my abilities. Whether that be the classes that I'm teaching, am I having fun with my students? Whether that be the writing I'm doing, am I enjoying the words that I'm putting on the page? Whether that be cleaning, I told Richard my favorite chore is vacuuming. I find fun in that. Even if it's tedious,
There's a
I get to
meditation
enjoy it.
at my house after the service today.
I enjoy it. I get to have fun in looking at nature and all sorts of these things in the people that I'm meeting every day. For me, that is such a core part of why we're here on this planet.
I just want to end with one statement for this congregation. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection. The lover, the dreamer, and me. The lover, the dreamer, and we. We have a final slide that I'd like you. This was the poem I read for the meditation. I invite you to say this and to take everything that Elliot, I told him, we're going to have 15 minutes to, what's the meaning of life? And let's cover it. I think he did an amazing job of that. But let's And next week, we'll have another story. These stories are empowering, but if we take Elliot's story and it just stays here as a listening and not an implementing, then it's been an entertainment. It's been wonderful. Our job is to tell the stories in the small groups, out in the world, to find the moments in the congregation to say it. But this is the story that I believe Elliot has told, and which is why this was part of the meditation. I invite you to say this with me with one powerful voice and make it personal. I am the beloved, unapologetic, unmistakable, unboxed, and unbounded rainbow of creation itself, and I shine. You got one more of those in you? Find the depth, find the rainbow connection, find all the colors of the rainbow, live it, breathe it, empower it with one powerful voice together. I am the beloved, unapologetic, unmistakable, unboxed, and unbounded rainbow of creation itself, and I shine. Beloved community, dance. Dance with Elliot, dance with Veronica from last week, dance with Sabrina, who'll be next week, dance with the person to your left and your right in the full essence of who God has designed you to be. Amen. How about a little applause and a little gratitude?
Thank you so much, Elliot. And as we're reflecting on Elliot's story and Veronica's story, it really, once again, helps our mission statement shine. We are walking this walk. So let's be reminded of what we stand for as a community, and let's read this together. We are a loving community of spiritual seekers who celebrate diversity, acceptance, and oneness. Thank you for sharing the stories that help us live that mission. As we move into offering time, this time where we're giving from our hearts. And we know that that gift can live in many different forms. People go on the app, people go on the website, people are consistent givers, and all those gifts are appreciated. We also have baskets in the back, and at the end of service, we will have ushers with smiling faces and lots of love that are welcoming your gifts. So thank you so much for that. So in advance, and with victory even, let us say our offering blessing together. We are so blessed. We are so prosperous. And it is our great pleasure to share of our blessings and to share of our prosperity. And in the giving, the entire world is blessed. Thank you, God. Please join us as we sing our offering song. We are so blessed.
We
are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. And we are definitely blessed to have Tempe and Jeannie bringing us another beautiful song, Grandmother Moon.
In the field where the night has come the day, I unpack my horse and build a fire to warm me. The smoke holds the prayers that the wind blows away. The stillness of this moment defines me. There in the sky, she watches through the clouds. And silver and alive, I feel her reach sacred and holy, watching over your children from darkness to light. Grandmother Moon, I feel that she knows me. Kindred and ancient on her mystical flight. She is with me, Grandmother Moon, watching over me. She is with me, Grandmother Moon, watching over me. A canopy of stars blankets the horizon. The flames of the fire dance in the night. Throughout time, she's been called the wise one. The eyes of the ancients are upon me tonight. There in the sky, she watches through the clouds. Silver and alive, I feel her reaching out. Grandmother Moon, sacred and holy, watching over her children from darkness to light. Grandmother Moon, I feel that she knows me. Kindred and ancient on her mystical flight. She is with me, Grandmother Moon, watching over me. She is with me, Grandmother Moon, watching over me. Grandmother Moon, watching over me. Grandmother
Tempe, Jeannie, the Unity North Band. Go ahead and stay up on your feet. Go ahead and come on your feet. We've had rainbows, we've had moon. We're going to bring the sun in. It's all about shining. And we like to say here at Unity North that what we've done in this room, if what's been shared here in this room stays in this room, it's been an entertainment. But let it go out there to be the moon through somebody's dark night. You be the moon. You be the rainbow lighting the way. You be the sun for somebody. And then this has been the most valuable time you could have spent. Don't waste the energy of right now, but go be all of these things for the world. Let's join hands, hearts, voices, and intentions as we close our service with with the singing of the peace song and the prayer for protection. Together we sing, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, raise them high. God is. Wherever you are, God is, because you are there. Thanks so much for being here. Come up and say hi to Elliot before you leave. Get your t-shirt for the Pride Parade in the back of the room, and sign up for small groups in the back of the room. Have a blessed and beautiful week.